Our home, it has water, it has oxygen. It's also a very hospitable climate. So why the noise and their need for meteorological and climate information? It is the climate we expect. It is the weather we see. Because we fail to keep the environment under control. That's why we're discussing climate change. I want to talk little science, just little science, by depleting good ozone. This atmosphere, we know it is into 4 layers. We live within the troposphere, and the upper part of this troposphere is tropopause, and it is about 12 kilometers up, and we all live within the boundary layer, and the boundary layer is between 0 kilometers to 4 kilometers, and I know nobody is as tall as 4 kilometers. So within these 4 kilometers, that's where we live. That's where we have all our activities. Now, good stratospheric ozone, that's the second layer. It shields us from the ultraviolet light. The atmosphere is transparent to shortwave radiation that is released by the sun. The distance between the Earth and the sun is about 150 million kilometers. And they say, that's the essence of saying the higher you go, the cooler it becomes, because it's transparent. It does not have effect when it's coming. That short wave, it's only being sent by the surface back, long wave radiation. That is when we have heat within the environment. So air pollutants, photochemical smog affects human health, crop yields, and as you can see, the behavior of temperature within the troposphere. Polluting the environment, all this we are doing. Unregulated and increased release of carbon dioxide to the atmosphere over the years has impacted the environment. That's it. Deforestation. Everybody wants to build at least one house. In fact, some can even build as much as 6 houses. They destroy the environment. Some will have in their village, they destroy the environment. You jam and floor. They change your bank characteristics of that environment. What have you had? Global warming, greenhouse gases, fossil fuels, carbon dioxide, ice core record, ozone depletion is equal to climate change. Global warming is a major aspect of climate. Global warming is spiritual advice. Our one. Climate change, the abuse of environment, is against God's will. We must respect creation while focusing on the needs of sustainable development. Environmental pollution declared a mortal sin. Hence, we now have the climate challenge. Policy makers need robust and credible scientific. In fact, we need to discuss science. What you don't know, you want to adapt to. People are saying climate change. I've been to conferences globally. You see people picking up their discussion from yes, climate change. What is even climate? We need to discuss the science. What is climate? What is weather? It is, like I said, it is climate you expect. It's weather you see. When you say rainy season, does rain fall every day? That it means rainy season. So, effective adaptation and risk management is also required. Reliable meteorological and climate services can provide individual societies, government and climate sensitive sectors effective, efficient and improved services. To say hence climate change and variability, at times it can even be variability, changing annually. It's just changing. Before you aggregate 30 years, have you experienced any change? That is when you say climate change. So climate change and gravity is not just an environmental issue, but also a development issue. Focus is a review work. Is to discuss the impact of climate change on agriculture, crop, livestock, and fisheries. The objectives are to explain the meaning and causes of climate change, highlight the varying impacts of crop yield, livestock, and fisheries, identify climate change adaptation strategies in the country, and some few recommendations. Impact of climate change on agriculture in Nigeria. Climate change impacts on agriculture in Nigeria. Climate change impact on Nigeria have been a significant concern because we depend on rain-fed agriculture. In fact, you see the rate of failure we are having. Every Nigeria falls between 4 degrees north to 14 degrees north in the northern hemisphere. There's what we call the southwestern that bring rain. It is moist and wet. It originates from the Atlantic Ocean. It brings rain. That is why, at times, ordinarily, rain should be decreasing northward. We should have what we call a popular name, August break, but professionally we call it little crisis, because this year it don't even happen in August. It only extended to August. That is why we have bimodal when the latitude is less than 10 degrees north down. So we are going to have bimodal while we have bimodal up to 14 degrees. Challenges faced by the agricultural sector. The agricultural sector in Nigeria is facing challenges due to inadequate and irregular rainfall, as well as increasing temperatures. The impact of climate change on agriculture in Nigeria has led to serious implications for food security and livelihood. This poll, which I'm trying to reference, we have heard about it here. This NOI conducted in August, that is the report which supports our observation. To tell us that what they did was correct. Now, we want to look at agriculture, and I know that we depend on agriculture. That is why at times when some people want to protest, they say minimum wage, minimum wage. How many of us? How many of us we get minimum wage? Minimum wage. Because most of us went to subsistence farming, and agriculture contributed 21.07% to Nigerian GDP in the first quarter of 2024. Crop production alone accounted for 19.24%. To tell you that when we are discussing climate change in terms of agriculture, we cannot overemphasize it. Again, the agricultural sector contribution decreased from 26.11 in the fourth quarter of this to 21%. So the growth rate of the agricultural sector was 0.18% year-on-year in quarter 1 in 2024. These figures indicate a marked decline in the sector's contribution to previous years. So definitely, what do you think is affected? Of course, we have a lot of factors, but the issue of climate change, you cannot overemphasize it on this matter. Human activities and climate change awareness, we have seen that what we review also agreed with what NOI poll got. Because it is, you may ask in any way. We remember when we were still younger, because we are still young men now, our parents, the Christian farmers, they can come out to tell you that there will be rainfall in the evening. Let them try it. Because they were using climatic experience, over the time. They were using it. So, but now, it's science. In fact, when climate gives some prediction, and some people say it's not accurate also, so that is why we need to develop our own local climate model. The model we have been using are developed in the temperate. Imagine if they have to set the base of a temperature to 11. We don't even have temperature of 11 degrees centigrade. We don't even have it. And that's what they use to develop their model. How will you make use of it? So that means we need to assemble our scientists to develop it. Apart from any other problem, like the problem of mathematics, the problem of physical laws, the problem of data. We need, because climate is now becoming station specific. Even within Abuja here now, if we have up to 200 stations, they are not too much. I remember I was in a conference in Toulouse. I presented a paper on looking at human health. I used methodological parameters to develop a model so that I can use to predict the number of cases of malaria occurrence. I used only one station. A lady came from China. She used 250 stations. 250. And my intention was to use more than that, but I didn't have access. I remember when I was doing PhD too, I visited virtually everywhere in this country before I moved out. The data were not available. So a lot of courses or whatever have been said because of our time. I said, what happens to agriculture generally in the general term? Increased drought will seriously and negatively impact the availability of food. Kwashiorkor is also a disease. It's linked to climate change. So when you don't feed well, that's the problem. Even when you don't feed well, malaria will require you now. And when you look at the sporogonic, the sporogonic cycle of that vector that causes it is now getting so fast to infect more people. And we have the population, the golotrophic cycle, that the moment it bites you, in fact, you are readily available to be beaten. Therefore, the thing keeps spreading. And from WHO, they said any child less than 5 years, we lose one person every 30 seconds to malaria. So, rice in temperature we call reduction in and possible collapse of whaling fishing activities. In some countries in Africa, yield from rain-fed agriculture will be reduced by up to 50%. An increase in concentration of carbon dioxide will increase the photosynthetic capacity of plants. All of us will remember our daily bread equation. Hope we know the daily bread equation. Eh? Yes. That's our daily bread equation. And that daily bread equation makes use of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and it liberates oxygen. So, what I mean by that daily bread is how do plants prepare their food? Sunlight, carbon dioxide, and waste product, oxygen. So, the more we have vegetation, the more oxygen we have in the atmosphere, and the less carbon dioxide, which is the greenhouse gas, we have in the atmosphere. Marine life, crop yield, temperature can strongly affect the biological process, number of eggs laid, incubation, feeding rate, and other physiological processes. Changes in air temperature and precipitation affect feed tree by altering habitat, availability, or quality. An increase in temperature will result in dry conditions in some regions of Nigeria as the rainfall pattern will change. The rainfall pattern it it has become so unpredictable. This year is a good example of that. So now we are challenging the scientists to go and sit down and see what are those things that are responsible for this. Put money for scientists. Let scientists sit down and develop, a good model that will be so accurate. They can tell you. I remember I was in one of the airports in the UK, Egypt. About taking up everywhere got down. Just 30 minutes to take up. Because of visibility. You see, because the visibility we have to be not less than 1,000 meters. This is 1 kilometer. But if a pilot wants to behave like a taxi driver, and 500 meters they can take off. You have experienced it. Yes, they can take off. It's risk. Because of this climate change, you discover now that we are having more gallop in the atmosphere. Hope you have noticed it. Yeah. Even in Abu Dhabi last week, they told us, this week of last week, that the visibility is so poor that vehicles were asked to reduce the effect of climate on livestock and fisheries. We have seen that because my time is almost up. The climate implication of freshwater resources, implication for accelerated increase in water scarcity, impact on livestock drinking water resources. They say water cover over 70% of the earth. No access to good water. Everybody has turned out to the local government chairman because you have to look for water for yourself. And when you begin to sound the surface, challenges for livestock management, implications for freshwater resources, sustainable agricultural practices in Nigeria, indigenous farming techniques for climate adaptation, much farming, conservation, mixed cropping, agroforestry, and application of manure and indigenous farming techniques in Nigeria. These techniques are already in operation but need wider adoption for climate adaptation. Researchers recommend motivating farmers to adopt improved versions of these techniques for sustainable agriculture. Let's move on. Adaptation measures for livestock and agriculture. Implementing shade and water provision. Promoting selection of live animals. More efficient production is expected. Introducing localized irrigation techniques. Developing affordable adaptation practices. Enhancing capacity building for livestock keepers. So let me move because I'm about rounding up because of my time. IPCC report and evidence test on livestock provide crucial insight into climate change impacts. It affects livestock productivity significantly. So it's also indicates a growing concern about climate change awareness in Nigeria. So I want to conclude. I said there are empirical threads of evidence establishing climate change and its impact on agriculture, crop, livestock, and fisheries, with serious implications on the livelihood of the communities and food security in Nigeria. The new elements in the climate change dilemma are its dynamic continuing nature. The atmosphere is not confined. What is the percentage of greenhouse gases we are releasing to the atmosphere? Few, very small. How many industries do we have here? But because the atmosphere is not confined, it can be released in Lagos and you have the effect in Abuja, depending on the stability of the atmosphere. The atmosphere is unstable, we are going to have wind. If it is stable, the resident time of pollutants is so high in the atmosphere. So that can affect human health. So, recognizing the right up emphasize the need to increase resilience and build adaptive capacity system making up the entire focus. Recommendation, individual action. Most of our and government. Who is government? I understand government, but who is government? We are government. conserve, consume efficiently, use renewable, be involved. These are good cases. High code. Look at what they are saying. It's a topical issue. They are involved. So you can be involved in your local community. You say, encourage the use of vehicles that have more miles per gallon of fuel. Is your vehicle of low emission? I know it's not easy to buy a new car, but at the same time, some car, when they are beside you know that you are inside the car. So, buy energy efficient appliances, not all those old refrigerators and all these things. Plant trees which absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Be careful with the trees. I think you plant trees that you will cut in few years because of the roots. Yeah. So you look at admonish rat and escape bush burning and cutting of forest, educate others. Let friends and family know about this practical energy saving steps that can help to save money while protecting the environment. Energy efficiency, two examples. Compact fluorescent, we will need to start importing hybrid cars because it saves money on fuel. Estimated savings can save as much as that. Recommendation. Now, I want to, on a data, if you don't have, that is what we want. I want to sincerely appreciate you for this opportunity, and I want to thank my audience for this.